Hello friends, welcome again to the tetrahedron chemistry classes. So again I am going to take a very simple aspect of from the periodic table, right, which decides the periodic properties. So this electron affinity is one of the periodic properties. We have already discussed ionization potential, we have already discussed your electronegativity, right. So now I am going to discuss this electron affinity. So what is the electron affinity? It simply means, so for example, say you are having a particular atom, and your convenience I am taking, say, this particular example. Say I am having a non-metal X. I am having the non-metal X in gaseous state, and if I am adding one electron to it to convert that species into your anion, okay, in the gaseous form, then definitely some energy would be released in that case, and that energy would be your electron affinity. Okay, so what is the definition? When an extra electron is added to the neutral gaseous atom, right, or simply you can say when an extra electron, say when an extra electron is added to the outermost shell of the neutral gaseous atom, then some energy is released, and that released energy is known as the electron affinity, right. And in the books you can find the amount of energy released, right, when an extra electron is added to the outermost shell of the neutral gaseous atom is called the electron affinity. So the simple thing is that the atom actually, right, which can readily accept electrons, for them the electron affinity would be high, and the atoms which would be reluctant to actually take the electrons, to accept the electrons, for them the electron affinity would be low. Okay, this is something very, very important. And what is the unit of this electron affinity? Unit is in kilojoule per mole. You can calculate, or you can write, see, electron volt EV per atom. So either of the unit actually you can use. Okay, now say for example, again if I am adding further one more electron to it and forming this X2 negative in the gaseous state. Okay, so this I am calling, the first one I am calling as EA1, that means first electron affinity, and this one I am calling as second electron affinity. Now the question is that which one would be higher, which one would be lower? Okay, this relation you should know actually. So it's quite simple, guys. You see here, I have already told you. See, when you have added one electron to this species, right? So this will give you the energy. Now it is having the extra electron. Now in this extra electron, say it is having this extra electron. Now if you try to add one more electron to it, so what will happen? The electrons present in it, this extra electron present in it, will repel this particular electron. Okay, so during this electronic repulsion, this X negative will not readily accept this particular electron. So we have to overcome this repulsive forces, right, the repulsion between the electrons. We have to overcome these repulsive forces in order to add this electron to it. That means when we actually when we are actually overcoming this repulsion, that means we have to give energy to the system. When we are giving energy to the system, that means system is having energy, it is not liberating energy. So second electron affinity is always smaller than the first electron affinity. So this is something very, very important which you should know. Your EA1 would always be higher when compared to the EA2, which is something very, very special, very, very important. In most of the cases this is positive because energy is released, and in the second cases, because we are supplying energy to the system, right, so supplied energy would be high than the released energy, so it will have the negative energy. So this is something very, very important, right, this is something very, very important, and we can justify this point with the help of one example. Say you are having this, I am taking this example, Okay, and say you are having oxygen molecule you are having, and for this actually oxygen, your first electron affinity is somewhere around say 140.9 kilojoule per mole. Okay, this was the picture actually when you are forming actually O2 negative species. Okay, by adding one electron to it. And then say for example when you have added this one, now again if you are adding electron to it, one more electron, so in that case that electron affinity, that is EA2, right, when it will form O2 2 negative, the value of EA2 is negative 842.9 kilojoule per mole. Okay, so if you take the difference actually between the two, so what you can do, minus 842.9 and you are subtracting which value, 140.9. So what you left with actually, right, you left with 702 kilojoule. I hope this is actually this is there in the slide. Okay, per mole with negative sign. So you can see here second electron affinity, that means for the formation of O2 2 negative, it is negative 702. Okay, okay, let me actually remove certain things from here, or I should not use this actually, I am writing here actually. For this one, say I am changing the color. For the formation of O2 2 negative, this energy actually was minus 842.9. okay, and for O2 negative, this was in the positive. So this I have already told you, whenever actually this first ionization potential, first electron affinity is there, it would be positive. For second it would be negative, because we have to overcome the repulsive forces exerted by the electron, right? So this is how you can actually define the electron affinity, and you can explain the concept of the electron affinity. Now say for example, what are the factors actually, factors affecting electron affinity. I am writing EA for this one, factors affecting electron affinity. So you see here the first factor, number of shells, inversely proportional to the electron affinity. So guys, if you remember the concepts used in the ionization potential, then the reverse of the ionization potential would be the effect of your factors of your electron affinity. That means whatever the factors were actually increasing or actually changing the ionization potential, and those factors actually will change the electron affinity in the reverse manner actually, right? They are opposite to each other. Okay, so when number of shells increases, electron affinity actually decreases. So why actually this happens? See, when the shells increases, the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell increases, and the effective nuclear charge decreases. When effective nuclear charge decreases, it will not actually attract the electron. When electrons are not attracted by the atom, it will release less energy, which actually gives the less amount of the electron affinity, which is something very, very important, which you should know actually. So similarly, the second factor is the effective nuclear charge. Effective nuclear charge, of course, it is directly proportional to the electron affinity. So higher the effective nuclear charge, that means this effective nuclear charge will readily actually attract the electron, and electron would be accepted by that species, and it will release the higher energy. That means your electron affinity would be high. This is something very, very important, which you should know actually. And the third point is the shielding or the screening effect. Shielding or screening effect. Shielding or screening effect. Okay, so in case of your say Slater's rule, you have already learned about this screening effect and the shielding constant, right? So this screening effect or the shielding constant is inversely proportional to the electron affinity. This is something very, very important, right? So see what will happen actually. See, whenever the shielding would occur, effective nuclear charge decreases, and when effective nuclear charge decreases, of course your electron affinity would also decrease. This is something very, very important which you should know. Shielding, you know, the protection. So what is the meaning of that shielding means, right? Say for example, you are having any atom X and it is having certain electron, say for example in this shell, right? And inside this you are having another electron, right? And these electrons actually, these two electrons are actually shielding the outermost electron, right? Say, okay, let me draw it again. Let me draw it again. Say you are having particular X, this is first shell, it is having the 2 electrons, and second, say it is having the 7 electrons. Okay, so this nucleus actually will attract these electrons as well as the outermost electrons, but much of the power of this nucleus would be consumed by these electrons actually, right? So what will happen, this nucleus will attract outermost electron less strongly, right? This is known as the shielding. That means shielding means protection of the outer electron by the inner electron. When the shielding actually occurs, that means the effective nuclear charge decreases. When effective nuclear charge decreases, of course the electron affinity also decreases. This is again very, very important. And next important factor, that is point number 4, completely half filled and fully filled. Completely fully filled orbitals have low electron affinity. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? This is quite simple, guys. You see here, if you are having the nitrogen 7, and if you write the configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, okay, so when you are having this 2p3, it simply means you are having 1 electron here, you are having 1 electron here, you are having 1 electron here. So in that case, you see, if you apply the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, Hund's rule, that means it is stable. So if you want to add electron to it, it will not accept that electron. If you want to remove an electron from here, it will not actually remove the electron more easily. So for them, ionization potential would be very, very high and electron affinity would be very, very low, because when it is not accepting the electron, that means it will not release any kind of the energy. At the starting of the lecture, I already told you, the species which readily accepts the electron will release the higher energy in terms of your electron affinity, right? And since this half filled and full filled, they are the extra stable species, so they are actually very reluctant to accept an electron, so their electron affinity would be actually small. So this is something very, very important which you should know actually. See, however, certain exceptions are there. See, if you see the periodic variation, say I am telling you the periodic variation, what is the periodic variation? See, when it goes across the period, okay, electron affinity increases. When you move down the group, electron affinity decreases, right? Say for example, say you are having how I can take, say I am having nitrogen, and after that I am having oxygen, and after that I am having the fluorine. Okay, so this is 7, this is 8, this is 9. Now after nitrogen you will have your phosphorus, which is 15, and oxygen you are having, after oxygen you are having sulfur, and after fluorine you are having chlorine, right? So they are actually down the group. So in that case, what I have written here, down the group electron affinity decreases, but if you see here, in that case your nitrogen will have lower electron affinity than phosphorus. Similarly, your oxygen will have lower electron affinity than sulfur, and your fluorine will also have the lower electron affinity than chlorine. Actually, these are the exceptions. These are the exceptions. So why these exceptions are there? See, this nitrogen is very small. So does this. So it is oxygen and fluorine. They are very small because they are the first member of their group, and when they are very small, their electrons actually concentrate in a particular small region in all the cases. Okay, so when the region is quite small, so if you want to add electron to it, electronic repulsion would occur. So due to this repulsion, it will not accept the electron. When it will not accept the electron, that means the energy release would be very small. That means you have to overcome with the repulsive forces, which actually decreases the electron affinity. That's why this nitrogen is sorry, the first members like nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine, they always have the lower electron affinity. This is the one way of explaining. Other way of explanation is that the next one actually, right? This phosphorus is having the vacant 3d orbital, and sulfur is also having the vacant 3d orbital, and this is also, this chlorine is also having the vacant 3d orbital. So what can happen actually in these 3d orbitals, the negative charge actually would be more delocalized, and when the 3d orbitals are there and the vacant 3d orbitals, their electrons are delocalized, that means repulsion decreases. When repulsion decreases, that means effective nuclear charge increases, and it will accept the electrons more readily, and thus gives the higher amount of the energy released, which is actually your higher electron affinity. This is the way you can explain. So this is the exception for your periodic variation. So this is something very important. And one last thing actually which I want to give you, say another this thing. So you are having the transition metal series. So you are having 3D series, you are having 4D series, and you are having the 5D series. And you see what I have written here, down the group electron affinity decreases, but in that case electron affinity increases. Why? So you see, when you go for the 3, 4 and 5D series, so they are actually more diffused. They are more diffused, and these d orbitals actually gives the poor shielding. When they gives the poor shielding, that means effective nuclear charge actually is quite high, and they can accept the electrons more readily, right? And when they accept the electrons more readily, so it simply means the electron affinity is quite high in that case. So you can see here, if you compare all of them, so 3D actually are less diffused. 3D is less diffused, and 5D is actually highly diffused. So what is the meaning of the highly diffused? It will give the very poor shielding. It will give you the very poor shielding, and this less diffuse will give you the good shielding. Okay, that means you simply say that 5D size is quite large for and 3D size is quite low. When the d orbitals are quite large, they actually do the poor shielding. That means the shielding is low. When shielding is low, effective nuclear charge is quite high. When effective nuclear charge is high, it will readily accept electron, which increases the electron affinity. So this is the concept of electron affinity. I hope the concept is clear to you. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much.